A couple comes into the scene as the film starts. That lady's name is Kate. She is going to give birth to a baby. She goes to the hospital, but she notices blood stains everywhere. His newborn baby is dead as he comes into life. Knowing it, she is dejected and she begins to weep while shouting. Everyone was looking awkward there, but Kate wakes us all of a sudden because it was just a nightmare. Being worried, she moves to the lavatory. It had really happened to them and they had lost their third baby because of this. Now Kate used to miss her baby a lot. She used to take the drug in order to forget him. She used to remain sorrowful enough that she was weakening psychologically. So there was a continuous argument between husband and wife. Kate used to take the alcoholic drink to forget her sorrow, but she was habitual to take the counseling session because she wanted to recover herself. Kate had already 2 kids. She wanted to perform her mother's role perfectly. She has a little deaf daughter, Max, and a son named Daniel. She did not forget after losing her third kid. So she suggests to her husband John that we may adopt one more baby in place of that baby. It may be an adopted younger child, if not a little baby. John agrees with her. One day, they go to the orphanage. There were many orphans who used to live there. They meet a little girl there named Esther. She was 9 or 10 years old. They liked that little girl while conversing with her. That little girl was also talking with them contentedly. It means she had intimated with them. They are excited thinking this little will fill the space of their third kid. They go to the kid's nurturer of the orphanage to take custody of that little girl. They ask them about Esther, which type of girl she is. Then the nurturer tells, this little girl is very sensible, and she talks mature enough, beyond her age. She has also etiquette, and she is also jolly. She informs that her family died in an accident, and she survived hardly, but she never realized it. She knows how to speak English nicely even though she is from Russia, because she is very brilliant. Then that couple brings her into their house. Kate's younger daughter Max feels happiness seeing Esther, because she had got her sister. But Daniel was envied, thinking about it. Why did his parents bring her? Now they will not value me as before. He was not talking with Esther happily. Kate and John are in their room at night. Then Esther comes there along with Max, and she says, Mother, we are feeling difficulty sleeping. Then Kate calls them both to sleep. One day, Daniel is playing a game in a forest nearby the house. He had a shotgun and he was shooting the objects, targeting them. A pigeon is accidentally targeted during this by him. Being wounded completely, the pigeon falls down. Daniel runs to that pigeon. Meanwhile, Esther and Max also appear there. Esther says to Daniel, bringing and giving a stone to him, kill the pigeon immediately. Otherwise, it will continue to feel pain, and it will have ache. But Daniel says, I apologize. I cannot do this. I cannot end it. Then Esther says, we will have to end it. And she throws the stone at the pigeon forcefully. As a result, it bleeds much and then dies. Now she was bold or cruel, nothing can be guessed here. The next scene takes place at school. A girl used to irritate Esther at school. She used to torture her every time with words. That girl comes to the seated Esther and touches her neck. At this time, Esther shrieks loudly, which makes every child fearful. Then she returns to the house. It is seen that Kate had started to love Esther a lot. She used to take care of her in every way as a mother does with her kid. Kate says, Esther, may I show you the grave of my third kid? Then Esther accompanies her. But she begins to weep to have the sight of the grave as she reaches there. Seeing her, she feels love for her and embraces her. They had developed the great affections that it was not appearing that Esther has been brought from the orphanage. Now the view of the house is shown where Kate and John are making love in the kitchen. Then Esther instantly comes there but leaves. Kate goes after her. Then Esther says to Kate, "Don't worry, cool down. I know everything." Kate is surprised, thinking how a little girl can talk as such. She mentions it with John. John says Esther was not used to living with us, and we don't know which things she knows about. The nurturer also told me that she gets the point quickly. On the following day, it is seen that John takes his kids into the park. Esther is also along with them. They are playing there. Then a little girl is shown there who used to irritate Esther at school. Esther begins to stare at her mysteriously. That little girl is a bit worried, thinking I have not teased her now. But Esther does not confine herself to staring, but she pushed her from the slide swing. As a result, that little girl receives a serious injury. All are dining together at night. John asks Esther, "What was the actual matter?" Esther says, "Father, we were just playing." She falls down while slipping. Max also gives the same statement. But Daniel was looking at Esther with suspicion, because he knew that she is telling a lie. He says, "Esther, you are telling a lie." But his parents ask him to say sorry to her. Now their son will not go outside for playing, because he has rudely behaved with Esther. But they were also noticing the awkward behavior of Esther. Then they also receive a call of nurture from the orphanage. Kate reveals everything to her. The nurturer comes to their house to meet Kate. She says, "I apologize. I had to inform you before that we had no knowledge about Esther. But we had often noticed that Esther was present in the surrounding at the time of strange happenings in the orphanage. And we also used to realize her mysterious behavior. It is my fault that I had not sent her with you." She says it may be my hallucination, but many strange happenings around Esther is not a coincidence. Kate is worried, thinking of Esther. But John says, "Why do you get worried?" As nurturers say that it may be their hallucination, but the nurturer tells she also gets control over others. Esther is hearing them covertly. She goes to Max and takes him with her. She takes the treehouse keys and also keeps a gun. Esther was waiting when the nurturer will leave their house. As she gets in her car, coming out of the house, Esther along with Max also reaches there. She pushes Max in front of the car as it drives on the road. Witnessing her, nurturer tries to slow down her car. But the car is not slowed down, but the car's control is lost. Getting off the car, she immediately looks at that little girl. But Esther attacks her from the backside. That nurturer dies on the spot because she hammers her head many times. Esther was acting all these before Max. She doesn't care which effect will leave her mind. Max is very frightened, but she explains to her, "Nothing happened. It was necessary for us to kill her." She takes her to the treehouse with her. Going there, she cleans the blood stains on her body so that no one may suspect, as she has ended someone. Daniel glimpses them when they are coming out of the treehouse. Being suspected before, he keeps an eye on her, but he hides as Esther casts her glance in that direction. Anyhow, Esther had seen him. When Daniel is sleeping at night, Esther goes to him, taking a paper cutter, and makes him fearful, threatening, "I will lend you if you expose anything before anyone." That couple brings Esther to a counselor while observing her awkward behaviors. But Esther confuses the counselor here very trickily. She confuses him in such a way that the counselor thinks she is right. And Kate is not offering those rights which should be given to a kid. John is infuriated hearing it. "It was your plan, so why are you not getting the courage to tackle her?" The marital conflict again begins between them. They receive a call from the orphanage. Reaching the house, they are telling that nurturer is still missing. The police investigate this case as this news travels outside, and they get the dead body of that nurturer. Kate and John get worried thinking that she visited our house last time. What happened? She died on her return. But the couple decides that they will investigate together what is the arrival place of Esther. Kate says we will get information from that Russian orphanage. When did the girl named Esther come? They inquire from everywhere, but they come to know that no girl named Esther was in any orphanage in Russia. Then the scene turns and it is seen that Kate is working in the kitchen. Then Esther comes there, holding the flowers. She gifts them to Kate. Kate loses her temper seeing it, because those flowers belong to her younger daughter's grave. She tries to snatch those flowers from Esther while gripping her arm firmly. But Esther is not giving her flowers. Then John approaches there, and he stops them. And Kate moves to her daughter's grave while weeping, and she begins to talk to her, weeping. In the next scene, when John arrives at the house, then Esther tells him that I have been beaten badly by Kate. In fact, she has hurt herself. She hurt her in such a way that indicates Kate has broken her bones. John feels very inadequate because he had never thought his wife so cruel. He begins to create a distance from his wife after this act. Kate is already not feeling comfortable, and she begins to take an alcoholic drink, noticing her husband's behavior. So she goes to a shop to take an alcoholic drink, but she wastes the alcoholic drink, not taking it. One day, Kate is going to drop her kids off at school. Daniel's books are dropped down from his bag when he is entering the school. Kate goes there to return his books, but Esther starts the car and that car begins to reverse. Max was also in that car. Seeing it, Kate and the people surrounding her try their best to stop that car, but no one is able to stop it. But the car itself stops, striking the lying snow at the backside. Running there, Kate takes Max out of the car and begins to care. She had left more worried after this incident, because she was feeling and someone is killing her happiness. Noticing her depression, John calls her counselor at home. John tells the counselor that she has brought an alcoholic drink last night, but Kate tells them that I did not take a single drop of alcoholic drink, but no one believes in her. Kate's counselor says to her, "You will have to send her to the rehabilitation center, where you will be freed from the habit of drinking and you will return after recovering." Now Daniel is shown going to his sister Max. He asks her, "Do you know something?" Then Max showed him the picture she made. Seeing it, it was proved that Esther has murdered along with the evil doings. Now Daniel was sure that Esther is an evil girl. He says to his sister, "Going to the tree house, I will collect some evidence. We can unmask Esther through them." He thinks I will expose her in front of my parents that Esther is an evil girl. On the other side, Kate is checking Esther's room. She finds a book there and has many photographs there. There is also mentioned the name of Sarn Institute in that book. Being curious, she calls to that place for investigation. "Is it an orphanage?" A lady speaks out. "No, it is a psychiatric hospital." Then Kate knows that she has come from a psychiatric hospital. Contrarily, Daniel comes on the scene who had visited the tree house to collect evidence. But Esther also reaches there somehow. She burns all shreds. Somehow, he comes out while opening the window of it. But he was badly wounded while the treehouse was still set on fire. Falling down from there, he loses consciousness. Kate was observing through her house. She runs to Daniel, witnessing her son knocked out. Meantime, Esther is going to throw a stone at Daniel while lifting it. Then only Max approaches there, and she forbids Esther. At the same time, Kate also arrives there. She takes Daniel to the hospital. Now Kate is attempting to explain to John that Esther is responsible for all of it. But he says she is a kid. She cannot do such. He was saying such because Esther had lured him that he was not ready to hear a single word against her. Now it is seen that Esther goes to that place furiously, where Daniel is present.